Ladies, we just not talking about you, cause some of these niggas are bitches too. A bitch is a bitch. And then I find out Reggie getting a haircut during this whole interview. Multitasking. Ain't that ironic than the motherfucker? Is, coincidences, do they exist? I'm listening to him at the same time while I record this, and he's getting a cut at the same time. Ain't that a bitch? So what I want to do is I want to go in order. I mean, the whole time I was watching, I was just taking notes, like I always do. Nigga been doing that since grammar school, taking notes and shit like that. But I want to go in order because, I wrote notes, and it was just certain shit that at the end when I stopped listening, to the point where I got to where I wanted to start recording is like the interviews, or the two interviews that I'm mostly focused on in this video are the ones between Napoleon and Greg Kading and Mike Dorsey. Oh shit, these motherfuckers, you just gotta pay attention. So I said, to you short span having ass motherfuckers, I just need to get the fuck on with that shit. I just keep going over there, so I'm just gonna pretty much start from the beginning. That's all I could do, it was like, god damn, this nigga Reggie Wright Jr., this nigga, I think motherfuckers is scared of him for some reason. So I'm just going back into my notes, and here it goes. Like I said, ladies, we just not talking about you, but some of these niggas are bitches too. And Reggie is playing his part so well. You got Mike Dorsey, you got a Greg Kading on the line and shit like that. These motherfuckers is sitting up there, chopping it up for real. These motherfuckers is chopping it up. But like I said, Reggie is playing his part. Reggie said in the part of the interview, y'all have to watch this. Y'all have to watch the whole thing, because this is how I get this shit. It's because I'm watching for 3 hours, 4 hours, and shit like that. So in order for y'all to understand what I'm saying, you're gonna have to watch the shit in its entirety, up until the point of where I'm saying, like I said, Reggie comes to this part, and I'm gonna get back to this, where he says, I'm asking questions I already know the answers to. We got that. We got cop talk. We just got a little moment where it's just cop talk and everything, and they just go into this zone or whatever, where it's it's natural because they're all cops or whatever, To Greg Kading, didn't, Keefy D and Buntry beef that ignited the Southside Crips and the Pyrus. That beef between the female, and he was like Greg Kading was like, oh yeah, what I'm saying, I knew it, but I don't know if it's true. Get the fuck out of here, motherfucker! You would have already brought it up at first. Keefy D would have already told you that. That's how the fucking beef started. But Mob James had to tell that shit. Why? Because fucking Buntry was his brother. And it didn't matter what happened. What happened out of all of this? Buntry was his brother. And Mob James didn't give a fuck about none of that bullshit that everybody else was doing. But Greg Kading gonna sit there and act like, oh yeah, I've heard of that, but I'm not sure, so I can't really speak on that. It's like, get your bitch ass out. Get your ass up out of here. You didn't know nothing. You don't know shit. You really don't know nothing. I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to bring up prerequisites when it comes to that shit. When it comes to the Tupac case, there's always prerequisites. It's crazy. This shit is crazy. And I'm gonna mention these motherfuckers just sitting here and just like, you know, regurgitating the same fucking shit. It's just it's different questions us asking and everything like that. But like I said, I just want to go through my notes because I followed this in real time and I took notes and shit through, you know, the whole conversation and shit. You know, so, you know, one thing, you know, John in the beginning, he started talking about Tupac being a coward. John started talking like Reggie was still talking to somebody on the phone who he was supposed to get on the phone before everybody else, but he went and chopped it up with them for a while and get off the phone with them and have them or whatever the fuck he was doing. And then John started talking on the phone about his confusion and shit like that. That's why I like to call it his confusion, because John sat up there and said like, oh yeah, well, I'm just hearing this shit secondhand, so everybody, you know, I should be up on this shit like everybody else, but I'm not, and you know, just all this shit and everything like that, and that's the shit I be talking about. And I done said that a couple times in my videos. That's the shit I be talking about. So why do you even speak up on it? Why don't you just be a little podcaster and interview people and shut the fuck up? That's all you gotta do is just shut the fuck up and won't nobody talk about you, because you sat there, and y'all can follow my comments. Y'all can follow my comments during this whole video. Unless they take it down or edit parts out, I don't know. But I was just catching it at real time because I'm subscribed to his channel, even though I don't agree with everything he's saying. Like, you know, this is information that is being brought to the table, and John should be a millionaire right now, but he's not. You know, that's probably his problem right now. Is, you know, John is supposed to be a millionaire because, you know, this is $1 million topic. They done made TV shows off this shit and all other type of shit, but John still ain't got paid. He ain't got, you know, maybe he did get paid. Who knows? But, you know, just the stress in his voice is like he ain't got paid for shit. Ain't nobody giving him no money for nothing. He bringing all these motherfuckers on the interviews and everything like that. Then these motherfuckers come at me and they be mad at me just because I be talking. That's it. That's the only reason they mad, because I'm talking. And the only reason I'm talking about is the material that they put out. You know, but John, his confusion, he doesn't know what the fuck is going on. And he admitted it at first. He did admit it. He said, I don't know what the fuck is going on. Like, I'm just doing it secondhand. I'm just getting all this secondhand information. But then when he goes to this other shit, it just sounds like Reggie. Like, him and Reggie are real tight. You know, and you know, he got some other shit with the brotherhood and everything. Like, if you listen to the interview, if they didn't take it down, listen to it all the way. He says, well, I'm not a part of the brotherhood, so I don't know what that feels like. Like, John want to be a part of the brotherhood. And the only brotherhood that Reggie has, or what he think he has, is because niggas came together and said, we're not going to argue, or we're not going to be them type of people who argue and this and this and this and that. And we're a brotherhood. That's not necessarily a brotherhood, because niggas can get together and talk, you know, even though they agree to disagree and everything like that. So some people feel good about that and everything like that, but remember, this is the internet. And, you know, at the same time, you know, it's protecting some people and people are playing a part, but John wants to be a part of that. Yes, Jonathan Bomb First wants to be a part of that. He wants to be a part of this shit. But, like, you know, he don't feel like, you know, Reggie telling them like, oh no, it's really not a white and black thing. It's a Reggie Wright thing. It's not a white and black thing. It's a Reggie Wright thing. That's what that is. And that's what John don't understand. It's a Reggie Wright thing. It's not a white black thing. It's a Reggie Wright thing. You got to get with it or you got to get lost. So he'll sit there and he'll say that like Reggie done dissed John on his own channel like so many times. He done just dissed him and dissed him and dissed him and dissed him. And all types of shit, just taking shots. And John just still there, just hee, ha, ha. He just sit there just like that. That's fucked up. That's supposed to be your homie, right? Oh, he got another brotherhood. He just using your platform as whatever. That's what it seemed like Reggie doing. You know, I mean, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's just jokes. It's just jokes. All right. It's just jokes. But somebody taking that shit personal. But anyway, like I said, you know, John sat up there and said that Tupac was a coward. He said that on his own show. He said he's a coward for not wanting to do 3 to 4 years. But it's like, I don't know what the fuck John does. I don't know if John is on something allegedly, or I don't know what's going on with him or whatever. But I don't know if he mentioned in any of his videos that, you know, like Tupac was wrongfully accused for that shit. So who will want to do 3 to 4 years in the maximum security prison for something they didn't do? So he called him a coward. You know, and that's just when I started writing. It was from the beginning. And like I said, I had never done this. I had never done this before. I have never watched a live video and just started taking notes or whatever. I might hear it and then write some notes and then, you know, marinate on it and come back to it the next day. Or maybe it might take 5 or 6 days for me to make the video of what I saw or whatever. But this one, like, as soon as John started running his mouth, I was like, nah, fuck this. I gotta do this. Because he even said it himself. He was like, I don't know shit. I'm just letting it, you know, secondhand, like just like a lot of other people. Because the only people that know are the people who are being interviewed and shit like that. Regardless of what you may think about them. And I'm gonna get into that. So it's like I said, if you are a short attention span having ass motherfucker, get your ass on. Leave. Reggie got at me. This motherfucker got at me and started talking shit about me in the live chat. If you've come up to this point and you've watched this, go back to that live chat if they put it up. He comes back at me in the live chat. He tells me to shut the fuck up or something like that. I was doing something else and I just heard him say my screen name. I was like, oh shit, this motherfucker's really mad. So I just started writing. But I ain't did shit to him. I don't know this motherfucker's like, nigga, you putting this shit out. And like I say, you know, John is feeling some type of way because he's not in the same space. He's providing a wave for him. He's providing that shit. But, you know, according to Reggie Wright Jr., he has his own brotherhood. You know? And if it's for jokes or not, you know, John is not included in that or whatever because John don't know shit. John know he don't know shit, and he admitted it. He don't know nothing. But then when he started talk about Tupac was a coward for not fucking going to jail for something that he didn't do, that's why I can't respect him as when it comes to that. Like I said, as a man, yeah, that's something else. Like I said, we could all probably go and have a fucking beer together and be the fucking best of friends and shit like that. Who knows? But it's not going like that. John says that Tupac is a coward because he didn't want to do something for what, you know, for what he didn't commit. And that came from Reggie. The first person I heard that from was from Reggie. He was a coward for not wanting to do his jail time that was given to him. But nobody else was going to do any jail time besides him. And there were more than one people or one person there. That's the shit that I be talking about. Why would somebody want to have to do 3 and 4.5 years for something they didn't do or supposedly did alone? Motherfucker, if you did something and you got to spend 10 years and you did it by yourself, you ain't got no argument over that. But when people come and they start talking about why did Tupac not want to take 5 or 6 years, not 5 or 6 years, but I mean, it could have been that. You never know. They could have got him on some other charges, but he didn't want to take his jail time. He didn't want to take his jail time because he was a coward. And he didn't even do the shit. That's the shit that I'll be talking about. Why does it have to be that? Why are y'all saying this? Why are you calling Tupac a coward? No, they'll say that, oh no, we're calling everybody else a coward who thinks he's alive, because that's where that comes in. Now John, when he's talking, he just addresses the people who thinks Tupac is alive. That's what he does. He addresses them. And once he addresses the people that are, you know, that are think that Tupac is alive, then he goes into his little rant before his little fucking pimp comes on, which is Reggie Wright. I'm tired of that shit, man. Like, fucking goddamn Reggie Wright is his fucking pimp. He's not gonna fucking cross that line. John is not about to cross that line. Why? Because Reggie Wright, that's daddy right there to him. Reggie Wright is daddy. He ain't finna cross that shit. Because it's like I said, like when you say shit like that and then you come across in the same sentence and say something else, there's like who, like, do you think you live on planet Earth? Do you think that people are not going to be paying attention to what you say and how you say it? Like I said, for the most part, some of these motherfuckers, you know, are just looking for views and subscribers. They're not looking for people to pay attention to what they say and how they say it. That's not going down. These people are just looking to be entertained and shit like that. So like up until the point where, like, cause like I said, I was streaming it live and I was taking notes, because this is like a certain community for certain people. It'd be like a motherfucker in some other community. It doesn't matter what it is. But they start talking about this shit, like, and if I feel like it, I'll start taking notes. But it started getting interesting. And it got interesting when John opened his fucking mouth and contradicted himself, when he sat there and said, oh yeah, well, you know, I don't know too much or nothing and everything, but all these people talking about Tupac alive, you know, I just don't get it, and they need to be quiet and all this other shit. But it's like just 2 or 3 minutes before that, depending, I don't know how long he ran it or whatever, but it was like you just told your audience that you don't know shit. You just get this second hand, just like everybody else is getting it, besides the people who were directly involved in that shit. And you have a platform and you're being used as a platform. That's what Reggie Wright is doing. Reggie Wright Jr. is using your ass as a fucking platform. Remember, you was just the internet boy, the web page boy. That's all you was. And it's facts. I'm not making this shit up, and I'm not saying it to make it seem like that's degrading you or anything, but that's what the fuck you were. You know, so just like I said, like at the end of the video, like I'm just like, man, I need to record this shit now. And like I said, like, you know, if motherfuckers are going to sit there and complain about the longevity of it and how long it is, like, those ain't the motherfuckers that need to be here. You know, and I was just tripping off the shit, you know, and it just got to a lot of things, which I'm going to come back to. I'm going to come back to some of these things that it got to that I wanted to mention in the beginning, but I wanted to do it in order. I wanted to do it in order because that's the way I listen to it. You know, and it's like, it started out with John, you know, talking about he has a platform for Tupac, but then he goes and calls, well, if Tupac is alive, this is what came out of his mouth. He said if Tupac was alive, he was a coward for not wanting to have a jail sentence for 3 to 4 years. But then they never want to answer the question. They never want to answer the question about why would a person who didn't do anything spend 3 or 4 years in their life in jail, period, but in Tupac's case, a maximum facility. He never wants. He doesn't answer that shit. I mean, these are y'all peoples, right? Get y'all peoples. If you made it this far, that's what I'm gonna name the first part of this motherfucker right now. That's what I'm gonna do. Get y'all peoples. I'm just gonna add that right quick. It ain't gonna take me no more than a few seconds. Bam, right there. Get y'all peoples in my notes. I mean, seriously, y'all gotta look at it like that for a second. That's if you're thinking critically. John said along with Reggie that Tupac was a coward if he faked his death to get away from a jail sentence. But why is he faking his death in the first place? I mean, the shit is confusing because like they still ask these questions to these people who come on there for interviews about Tupac being alive. And that's what made me keep writing, because at first I was just going to write a little bit and just cover one part and then I was going to scrap it. I haven't even fucking got to Napoleon yet. I haven't even got to him yet, because that's how far in my notes that I done wrote where I haven't even got to him yet. And why Reggie is mad at me, because I ask questions. I haven't gotten to that point yet. I'm still scrolling down. These motherfuckers worried about, you know, everybody else and everything, like, and I'm not even finna get to that because I already know what my notes is, and I'm about to just jump ahead. I just had to format this shit in some way to the point where it was like, God damn, this shit is serious to these motherfuckers, because motherfuckers are just talking and they just saying the same shit. They just saying it in different ways, and I guess they trying to convince a new audience, and they might get a new audience or people, but I don't know. I have no fucking clue. I have no idea. You know what I'm saying? But I guess this is all for the love of Tupac, right? This is all for the love of Tupac. And Reggie has so many distractions. Whatever the fuck that he's involved in, or I don't know. Like Reggie came at me online and was like, you know, like, dude, I ain't involved, like, you lying on me, and like, I'm not the one that said anything. I didn't say it. I didn't say a damn thing about you being involved with nobody until somebody else said something. And it's not saying that I believe them or not, but I'm just saying, like, why are you getting mad at me? Because all I'm doing is mostly asking questions. You know, so then I was just like, okay. Well, obviously, if you have nothing to do with anything, then it wouldn't be that serious. And, you know, I was just like, you know, there's a certain probably distraction that Reggie can come up with. And Reggie has developed some type of distraction to where he interviews people, or he has certain people that he interviews to, you know, get their mind off of whatever they might think or whatever. And he'll get these people who are down. They don't know what the fuck was going on. But all they know is like, hey, Reggie want to talk, and if Reggie paying or maybe some of these people might do it for free. I don't know. But a lot of these motherfuckers is coming on here just talking. It's the same shit, right? The same fucking interviews, just told in different ways. You know, so when I say I wanted to go in the beginning, I wanted to talk about Napoleon's interview. Now, Napoleon is a Muslim. He went from a stone cold American gangster, from the way that the United States, you know, depended on gangsterism or whatever, or he thought he was in a gang, or he thought he was a gangster and shit. and all he found out that he was just a impoverished young black man who thought he was a gang member, but he was really just killing himself and killing others. That was the first part of the interview. That's what that was. And if you listen to it, they ask the same questions. Reggie asks the same questions that he asked the first time he was on there, or that what anybody else asked. They did the same thing. They did the exact same thing. So they're asking them questions and blah 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 and everything like that. And then, you know, some people don't understand, like, he was just a child. I mean, Tupac was what, roughly 25 when he died? So then you have, you know, you got these little kids at the time who were just teenagers at the time talking about Tupac, and they keep asking them the same questions and shit. Why? Is because, you know, to get your mind focused off something. It's a fucking distraction. We already know what the fuck Napoleon knows. Napoleon, he already told you what he knows. Don't nobody want to hear why he became a Muslim. Don't nobody want to hear that shit. We already heard it because y'all asked it before. Y'all already asked why he became a Muslim. But yet, that's what y'all want to do. But, you know, it's like I said, like that's the entertainment part about it. It's like, you know, sometimes people just want to talk. Catch a motherfucker, like, you ain't got to do nothing with them. Like, all they want to do is just talk. That could be your homie, that could be the opposite sex, or whatever, you know. I mean, that's why John started asking him about religion. How did he get into Islam and all this other stuff? And it was like, yeah, for the new listeners, yeah, you would repeat that, but that takes up a lot of time. That takes up a lot of time for the time that he agreed to be on there, because everybody knows that. Y'all can't come up with no other questions. Motherfuckers are not gonna respect you like that to keep coming on your show like that. Like they'll I mean, if there's something involved or whatever, and you gotta, you know, shoot somebody a couple dollars and shit like that, they'll keep doing your show. But you keep asking the same questions. They've been asking the same questions. I mean, how many times has Napoleon been interviewed? Like, come on, keep it real. He's been interviewed plenty of times on Bomb First and other platforms. So, I mean, what are y'all doing? But Napoleon's really not an issue because he was a child at the time. Like I said, Tupac was 25. He was a child at the time. He can't recall a whole lot of shit. These type of interviews are just dying out when you keep interviewing Napoleon, and his name is not Napoleon no more. He didn't change his name to shit. I forget it because I'm used to knowing him as Napoleon, but he wants you to call him Motad or something like that, and you had to call him that. But, like, how many times have they interviewed him in that? How many times have they interviewed him asking the same questions? They've asked him plenty of times the same exact questions. It's drying out the interviews. I mean, even Napoleon would tell you, like, yeah, I was an alcoholic. He's repeated that plenty of times. He said he was an alcoholic, and, you know, and it's some shit he couldn't recall. All he did was drink alcohol. You know, and this alcohol was ruling his life, so he felt like he had to go and do something else, which is peace to him. Like, if that's what he had to do in order to get away from that shit, I mean, he's not talking about, like he said, a beer or two or anything like that. He's talking about Hennessy. He's talking about hard liquor, 80%, 40%, 100% of alcohol, where he had to go through that shit. And he got out of that. He said, fuck that shit. I can't have this shit ruling my life. So I'm going to be a Muslim. But see, that's the shit that I'm talking about. It's like, you know, Napoleon has moved on. He's no longer an outlaw. Yeah, he's an outlaw. Of course, when it comes to the public and everything like that, he's an outlaw, but he's really not. You know, like he couldn't even recall like the shit that happened with he remembered after I think somebody had asked in the comments about like, was you there when Tupac got into it on Sunset with some Crips or something like that, when Tretch was there and all that other shit. And at first he couldn't remember, but then like, yeah, he heard about it, he knew about it, because he probably wasn't there at the time. He was a little nigga himself. I mean, Tupac was a little nigga. He was only 25. If you my age, if you in your 30s or whatever, or older than that, then you know, that's a little nigga. So it's like he didn't know, or he wasn't gonna know, or anything like that. But you know, I mean, that, you know, that's what happened. That's why I said, like, you know, John, he don't know shit. He explained to you in the beginning, like I said, unless they edit that part out, then he's gonna tell you that he doesn't know shit. Then he's gonna just go into some other shit before Reggie cuts him off, because he has to tell his pimp. John has to tell his pimp, oh, I was talking too much. So I don't want to, you know, I like, what the fuck is this? What the, I don't even want to get into all that shit, you know, I'm just saying. Like, so, you know, going into my notes, I see something about credibility. Which means that they speak on the credibility of Keefy D, and Napoleon is asked, what does he think about Keefy D's confession, or whatever is it, because now everybody's making videos off of it, right? Ever since motherfuckers done got the news, everybody's making videos off of it. So what does Napoleon say? Napoleon says, yeah, it sounds about right. It sounds about right. That sounds cool, yeah. Because Napoleon is done with the shit. Like I said, that's not even his name no more. That's just like Mob James. That's not his name no more. He don't want to be called that. It's just like Napoleon. He don't want to be called that. He wanted to be called by Muta. I just remembered it off my head. Just by hearing it so much. He wants to be called, that's his name, Muta. I went into the Outlaws like that. I don't even know his real name. What he would put down on his driver's license or his social security card. I have no idea. I didn't follow the Outlaws like everybody tries to follow the Outlaws or whatever, because they were little niggas. They were youngins. But, you know, like I said, they spoke on the credibility of Keefy D, and he just went along with it. He was like, yeah, it sounds about correct, and this and that, blah, blah, blah. And it like, I mean, what the fuck? Like, I mean, when you got, you gotta switch religions, or you gotta go into a religious, a serious religious zone, where to the point where it's like you just feel like your life is just, you know, I mean, we don't know Napoleon's life, but you know, he was able to be a man and tell you his point of reference and why he chose to do what he was going to do. So, you know, that pretty much was what they got him on the phone for. You know, it's to neutralize the conversation and everything else. You know, so one thing that Napoleon spoke on is he spoke on what Gaddafi saw, but he doesn't go into detail. He just mentions it. And like, if you've been listening all this time, like, we need more than that. You can't just mention, oh yeah, Gaddafi saw such and such, and this is what he said or whatever. Now we need detail. If you don't want to give details, then just stop talking, because you're just giving the same story. And that's what Napoleon is giving. Napoleon is giving the same exact story that he's been telling. Yeah, Gaddafi said this, Gaddafi said this, but he never goes into detail. You know, so it's like, you know, if Gaddafi saw all this stuff, he would have explained what he saw, just like the arm came out light skin and everything like that. But he's just giving a general description, just like what he was trained to tell or whatever. Who knows? This motherfucker's life might have been in danger, and Napoleon, aka I didn't forgot his name again. I forget. But yeah, I know his name. But you know, he tells the same story, and you know, there's no detail or anything like that. You know, so you know, then I hear, you know, this portion of the shit where Reggie is talking, and he keeps talking, he's talking, and he's talking about shit that is supposedly to be false. It's false. He's not on the phone with anybody who thinks that Tupac is alive. Reminding you that during this whole interview, he's not on the phone with anybody who thinks that he's alive. But he brings him up. He keeps bringing this shit up. Where it comes to where it's like, if he's dead to you, and you think he's dead, then just leave it like that. Just go ahead and leave it like that. Why do you keep asking people and try to get this thread going on about people who think Tupac is alive? Or how you just trying to get everybody to be on your side, you know, and say that Tupac is dead, and why do they think like that? This is just so crazy. Oh my God, it's ludicrous. It's all that shit. But you keep speaking about it. Just like you keep bringing up people's names and shit like that. When you know it's supposed to be false. So it's like, stop giving those people that shine. Whether it be me, whether it be Lay Legend, whether it be Tanique Reviews, whether it be Gab, and you know, and whoever, Art of Dialogue, it doesn't matter. The fact is that you keep bringing the shit up, and since you keep bringing the shit up, people are gonna still talk about it. Why you keep doing it? I don't know. I don't know why you do the shit that you do. You know, but then, you know, it's another part that I guess that he brought up the bulletproof jersey. I thought you been said the bulletproof jersey was fake and everything like that. So why do you keep bringing up the bulletproof jersey to other people and everything like that? Because is it because, damn, this motherfucker survived? He's supposed to be dead if you knew anything. Like I said, I'm not saying you know anything, Reggie. I'm not saying anything like that. But it's like the way that you going about this is just like, man, it's like you gotta know something. Because other than that, you wouldn't even fuck with it. Even Greg Kading said that shit. I think these motherfuckers got a coup. It's probably a coup being involved. But who knows? But let me keep going, you know. You know, like I said, just to get off Napoleon, you know, no disrespect towards him, but like, you know, he said respectfully, like, yo, like, I don't remember a lot of this shit, man. I was coked. I'm not coked up, but I was off, you know. I was smoking a lot and I was drinking a lot, you know. So like, I don't remember a lot of shit. Plus, he was just he was a youngin'. Like, he wasn't gonna know shit anyway. He wasn't older than Tupac. Tupac was older than him. I mean, we've pretty much gotten all we've got out of Mopreme. Mopreme is the only older brother, older than Tupac, and then next you got Gaddafi. You know, so like I said, that is my problem. You know, it's like, why ask these questions and, you know, you already feel and you believe that this is not accurate and this and everything like that. I mean, maybe it's just for entertainment. I don't know. I have no idea. You know, but, you know, Napoleon just pretty much says, like, he was young. And I really don't know shit. All I know is I'm a Muslim. That's all I know is I'm a Muslim, and I was young at the time, and I converted to this religion. This is the way I feed my body. This is the way I think. Everything in between. And that pretty much was it with him. But my whole thing is, you know, Tupac, to me, just from everything up until this point, Tupac was closest to Gaddafi. He was more closer to Gaddafi than he was to Napoleon. That's what I would think. That was his half brother. That was his half brother, just like Mopreme was his stepbrother. But it's like, you know, when it comes to credibility and Napoleon, nah, I mean, Gaddafi is dead, supposedly. Like, I'm not going to get into that or anything, or if Gaddafi's alive or not, or, you know, and maybe he is dead. But it sounds like, yeah, he really is dead, you know. But, you know, I'm going to believe Gaddafi before I believe anybody else. If I'm going to believe anybody, I don't trust ED. I don't trust Napoleon. Fatal's gone and he felt some type of way. You don't hear too much from Castro. Noble, I don't like. He was towards the end, you know, and it was like the Outlaws period. Like, I feel some type of way about them anyway. Like nothing bad or whatever. It was just like when it comes down to this and everything, I just don't agree with everything. I just really don't. But I think that, you know, Tupac, if anybody was going to speak on Tupac from the Outlaws, it was going to be Gaddafi. Will it go be nobody else? So of course, like, you know, it's like the neutralization I was talking about. You know, it's like, you know, Napoleon is neutralized. He's a Muslim. He practices this. He doesn't do that. He blah blah blah. He can recall this, but he can't recall this because, you know, he was drinking Hennessy for a whole year straight. And I mean, come on now. Come on. Young dude at that time doing all that and everything, man. What you really paying attention to? You ain't paying attention to shit. Not a goddamn thing. You know, so then the other half was, you know, the shots being fired at Tanique. Reggie took shots at Tanique. I'm not gonna spend too much time on that, but, you know, he was like, oh yeah, this dude claimed that he did this and this and that, ha ha ha, whatever. It was Tanique. Of course you would know, because everybody, you know, is the Tupac community is very small, so it was like people were in that community and, you know, different things like that or whatever. So I knew who he was talking about. I think he said it before, and then he kind of like said it, you know, misdirectly and everything like that. But it's nothing to start anything between them. It's because, you know, he got something against Tanique like everybody else who thinks Tupac is alive. But he cool with Lay Legend or whatever. Lay Legend gets a pass with Reggie Wright, even though he think he alive. You know, like, he's still getting a pass with him, and that's crazy to me. I never could figure that shit out, because if I was saying he's alive and blah 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 and everything, I guess it's because You know, legend don't think that Reggie had anything to do with his death if he's alive. I mean, if he's dead. So that's probably what it is. But that's just like with everybody. As long as everybody don't think that Reggie had something to do with Tupac's death, then you straight. You cool. You know, but other than that, if they think you had something to do with it, you know, blah, blah, blah. And like I said, I'm not blaming Reggie for shit. The only thing I'm saying is, like, you knew something. Nigga, you was the police. Fuck the bullshit. Nigga, get the fuck up out of here. You can try to, like I said, you can try to fool all these other motherfuckers with that bullshit. But motherfucker, like, you the police. Get the fuck out of here. The fuck is, like, and like I said, I'm not saying you're guilty of anything. It's just that you knew something. Because if you didn't know nothing, you wouldn't be saying nothing. There would be nothing to talk about if you don't know nothing. Motherfuckers that don't know nothing do not say nothing. They have nothing to say. You know, oh, but yeah, bringing up stories and interviews and shit like that. So, you know, but you know, it doesn't go into the prerequisite, which I'm gonna get to. It doesn't go into that shit. You know, when you talk about Tupac, everything. It's just the interview. How was your time with Tupac? How did you feel about the song? What was the shit with this or whatever? And it just depends on who you have on the phone. Just like I was saying to, you know, Reggie Wright Jr.'s likeness. He gets on the phone who's to his likeness and shit like that. You know, which is cool, but I just don't understand. Like, it's like, if you ain't got nothing to hide, why the fuck are you coming at somebody like me? I wasn't involved with Death Row. I don't know what the fuck is going on. All I'm hearing is what's going on this side. But like people like John is going to have his options and opinions about people on that side, because that's the side that he worked for. So why would John go against it? If John was to go against it, oh my God, do you know what would happen to Reggie and John's relationship if John started to say, like, I don't think Orlando Anderson killed Tupac. If John said, I don't think Orlando Anderson killed Tupac, do you know that would start a whole fucking riffle? It would start every type of fucking goddamn riffle between their relationship. And it would be gone just like that. I don't know. And he wouldn't get on there. I mean, I already see it. You know, then Reggie brought up the goddamn bulletproof jersey. It was supposed to, Tupac had a bulletproof jersey. He kept bringing that up, and I was just like, why you keep asking the same questions and try to laugh about it? Like, oh yeah, these people actually think, like, come on, man, like, what the fuck? You know, and all you gotta do is just listen to the interview, you know, because, you know, he was talking about, you know, how Tupac was not gonna leave Death Row according to Napoleon, but like Napoleon is the most popular aftermath. He's the most popular aftermath outlaw than anybody else. It'd be a battle between him and Idi Amin. But I mean, like I said, like Napoleon, he's moved on from the shit. You know, so you know, it really doesn't matter. You know, and you know, not Gaddafi, but Napoleon gave a soundbite of, you know, it being the end of thug life and the beginning of the outlaws. Like, these niggas is all on Tupac level, older than him, as old as him, or not, or whatever. And then he got to go to some little niggas and shit. I don't know if they probably was as tight as the outlaw. I mean, as Thug Life. I think Thug Life is better than the Outlaws, despite what happened to them. Because like once people die, and they have a mark. It's like the alcohol, maker's mark. When you have a mark, when you have a maker's mark, then you become into the category and everything. And, you know, just like, you know, the older people get, you know, the more the younger generation just, you know, just ostracizes them. But, you know, the Outlaws is more popular than Thug Life. You know, since they're more popular than Thug Life, then of course you're going to get more people just saying like, yeah, that's, you know, that's pretty much what it is. But you know, he explained that a little bit about, you know, the death between Thug Life, as far as Tupac killing that to him giving birth to the Outlaws, which is all good or whatever, you know. But the Outlaws was just little 20-year-olds and everything, like just like when I went through that stage or whatever, like everybody else who's been through their 20s and mid-20s and everything, they went to that stage and they just figured out like, oh shit, like, yeah, I can't do that no more. So like this is probably where, you know, it gets into the hour. I can see right now it's at 51 minutes or whatever. And I'm probably not going to talk about too much about this because it's self-explanatory. But, you know, like I said, the second half is, you know, shots fired at Tanique. You know, Reggie talking about him taking all the credit. You got Mike Dorsey in this motherfucker. The possibility that Keefy D does save the police or whatever, you know, because and Greg Kading just gives away, like, he just gives away a lot of facts or whatever. Greg Kading facts, and I want to speak about all of that shit, but you know, I'm not going to do that because a lot of people don't want to listen for an hour or 51 minutes or whatever. Their attention span is not that long, you know, so they can't hang with this shit or whatever, you know. So anyway, Keefy D goes ahead and he probably saves the, you know, the police department, you know. And I think it was either Mike Dorsey or what is his name, Greg Kading, who said something about like some people being consultants on the Death Row Chronicles. You know, like oh shit, like y'all were consultants on the Chronicles. Like, what the fuck? Shit. You know, and it was like, I was just like, Greg Kading started talking about being arrested, the difference between being arrested and being convicted of something like that. And he broke that shit down. He broke that shit down all the way. And it was just like, it's just, you're looking at the comments and ain't nobody paying attention to that shit. Ain't nobody pay attention to none of that shit. Like, you know, it's like you said, like, you can arrest somebody. I mean, this is just basically standard. You can arrest somebody, but that doesn't mean the charges are going to stick depending on what it is. But like I always tell everybody, all of this stuff is about murder. It has something to do with murder. So there are no statute of limitations on murder. So stories are going to switch up and all types of shit are going to happen. But, you know, like, he pretty much proved my point. And he's an officer, you know, because he knows, he's been there before, you know. It doesn't matter what you plan on getting away with. You know, if you arrest somebody and you charge them and it doesn't stick, then that's it. You know, you can't do nothing else unless it's something like in the future or something like that or whatever. You know, and then like what got me is Greg Kading said that, you know, the Tupac autopsy photo was probably fake. And this is where I was just like, you know, okay, I can understand, like, you know, there are prerequisites when it comes to Tupac's murder or supposed murder or whatever it is. His FBI file. People come in with prerequisites. That means they come in already knowing what they finna learn about. They already coming in, you know, like strong like that. This is what you gotta learn. This is what you gotta study and everything like that. That's why all this shit is still going on is because of the prerequisites. You know, and then like when Greg Kading said, like, you know, the shit was fake. He said it was fake. You know, it's because of this, and I forgot the cop talk. You know, all the cop talk he was talking about, it was like this and that, blah blah blah, and everything like this. He said it was fake himself. Now, if John decides to delete that out of the video, then y'all never get to see it. Y'all never get to hear it. Matter of fact, not see it, but hear it. But you know, but that's what he said, and you know, I'm gonna kind of go through these notes because it's just everything that I done heard before, and it's like y'all probably didn't hear it or whatever. But you know, you get Reggie got in his feelings at this time. You know, Reggie got into his feelings when I said something about prerequisites, about Tupac and everything like that. And you know, certain people are set up with a certain thing or a certain rule or a certain a line of duty to follow from, or to, you know, get an angle from, or anything like that when it comes to like, oh, this is your homicide case, so this is your prerequisite. This is what you have to know or whatever. Reggie got mad at that and started talking shit about me. He said my goddamn username. I was like, goddamn, like, what the fuck? I ain't did nothing to you. I ain't the one that's accusing you of anything or anything like that. But it's like, hey, it's like he making fun of my 300. And it wasn't 300. It was actually like 100 and something or whatever. I ain't got that much followers or whatever. But I'm just speaking. That's all I'm doing. I got a YouTube page. It's like Reggie is trying to say, like, I'm not obligated or fit for a goddamn YouTube page because I don't have as many followers as everybody else has, as he has, or his other people has, or anything like that. Fuck out of here. Yeah, fuck that nigga. What the fuck you think this is? It's not like that no more. It's not like that no more. You know, but then, you know, Greg Kading starts talking about gang culture and how it is with gang culture. And some of the parts he is on point about it, but other parts is just like, I don't know if you're just saying that, or you know, or like you got to be somewhere in there, so whatever, you know. Like Greg Kading too, like, you know, maybe he was part of the prerequisite. It was like, this is what we're gonna brief you on, and this and this and that. And Greg Kading probably don't know what the fuck is going on. All he knows is this is what was briefed when he got everything, and you know, everything came to him or whatever. You know, so there was even Greg Kading even mentioned something about Keefy D being the trigger man, and if that was a possibility, you know. And I'm just like, man, it's a whole back and forth thing, because you know, how are the criminals gonna snitch on the police? How do criminals snitch on the police? You know, so I don't know. That's another title, you know, to where you just have to think for yourself. You know, how do criminals snitch on police? You gotta think about that for a second. And the only reason why I'm doing that is because I'm putting that and I'm adding that into the middle of my notes. Criminals snitching on police and how that works, especially, you know, with the shit going on right now. So y'all just bear with me. I'm just doing this for a little bit of a second or whatever. Bam, 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 bam. And right there, yeah, we back with it. So yeah, it's criminals snitching on police and shit like that. You know, Keefy D, you know, they're trying to say like, well, maybe Keefy D was the trigger man, so they're trying to get this motherfucker to go down for whatever, if he get in there. But like I said, no body, no case, no murder, no arrest or whatever. criminals snitching on police. You know, and like I said, like a lot of this shit was happening. There was a lot of police moonlighting. Like if it wasn't police moonlighting and shit like that, then I can understand. I would be able to understand, you know, that, you know, police moonlighting and everything like that. But that was the actual facts. That was what was happening. And these was your people, whether you was police or not. These were your peoples. Well, not police or not, but you was police officers. So this was your shit. Off-duty police officers. You know, like I said, like, you know, a lot of people will sit there and explain this to you, just like I'm trying to explain this to you, is that they would convince you that all this shit started over a fucking chain snatching. All this much hate for Tupac and all this other shit. And all like just enough for you to kill over a fucking chain. This nigga that snatched the chain. Oh shit. Let me go whoop this nigga ass. This nigga snatched what? This nigga snatched your chain? Oh, fuck this. Fuck the bullshit. Let me go fuck this nigga up. Nah. That's too cartoonish. That's too cinema. It's like the movies and shit like that. You can get with people who can make up stories like that. You can make up a storyline. It's easy. You know, so, you know, it seems like, you know, just listening to a lot of this shit is just like all of these reoccurring stories is just to reprogram your mind into what you think that you thought you knew or whatever it is. Like they just came in and was just like, you know, just let's just reprogram their minds with same interviews and stuff like that, and ask the same questions just in a different way and shit like that, and just keep it going. You know, that's what you do about, you know, mind controls and shit like that, you know. And then, you know, lastly, you know, before I get out of here, I just want to talk about like a little towards the end, to where the point where I was like, I get it, I got it, I know it's good. You know, according to Greg Kading, you know, he thinks Kevin Hackey is playing it safe, and there was a question asked by the crowd or the audience, or what have you, that like how does Reggie Wright Jr. feel about Kevin Hackey? And it's like, these are police officers and shit like that. It's like, goddamn, like you can think about a beef between teachers or doctors or, you know, some shit like that. But police officers, these motherfuckers get to carry weapons. These motherfuckers get to carry weapons and shit like that. And these motherfuckers, they ain't got nothing good to say about each other. Why? Oh, because he was an informant. Okay, he was an informant, but why was he an informant? Reggie doesn't want to talk about that. And why are you so mad that he was an informant? He was a snitch on what? He was a snitch on something, you know, something that you was trying to do, or, you know, what's your whole, you know, thing with Kevin Hackey being an informant? If you ain't had nothing to do with nothing criminally or anything like that, why are you so mad at Kevin Hackey? And like I said, if people made it up until this much, then they will understand what I'm talking about. Because he sure did speak about fucking goddamn Kevin Hackey and shit. And these are two police officers beefing. So this is where we have no fucking goddamn structure or anything. Because when it comes to the two officers beefing, we have nothing to do with that. And that's what we don't understand. This is why we, like, you gotta think about it. Everybody that's talking are police officers. Greg Kading come on here a little bit. Kevin Hackey, he came on or whatever, and we all know Reggie is talking or whatever. But you know, all the people that are really, you know, willing to talk, you know, police officers. But these motherfuckers is beefing. They don't even. What happened? That's what we want to hear. We want to hear what happened between, you know, Reggie Wright and Kevin Hackey. But obviously we already know, because between them two, we don't know what the fuck is going on. Maybe somebody betrayed somebody. Who knows? But all I know, they're like, all of this shit, like in the beginning it was that, with John, then there was Napoleon, and then it became, you know, Mike Dorsey and Greg Kading, and then it became, you know, some police talk or whatever. Then, you know, the shit about Orlando Anderson. They even came up with some shit about Orlando Anderson returning fire. They had never heard of that shit. Like, what is going on? So now Orlando Anderson is returning fire? What is Orlando Anderson gonna be returning fire on? That's what Greg Kading said. If they don't mention it, then you ain't got to bring it up. You know, that's really that's really the motto. If they don't mention it, you ain't got no reason to bring it up. But, you know, they said that, you know, Greg Kading said something about he heard a story about Orlando Anderson returning fire. Ain't that some shit? So, you know, that brings me to my conclusion. You know, I'm not looking for strangers, validations. I'm not looking for approval from people, you know, who are talking about, like, I'm just, you know, Reggie had said some shit about being in his live cast, and it's just like, whatever, nigga. Like, I'm not the one. I didn't come up with this shit about you. You know what I'm saying? All I'm doing is piecing this shit together. All I'm doing is breaking down with the people that you bring in front of me and everybody else who decided to talk about this. That's the only thing I'm doing. I don't even know who the fuck you are, but, you know, for you to be like, you know, fuck this motherfucking everything, that that's not what I'm doing. But that's what you go and tell your little fans or your little subscribers and, you know, your virtual family, your internet family and everything like that. But that's not what I'm doing. I ain't doing shit like that. Like, you want to sit there and talk about, like, oh, he only got 100. Actually, he's at 300. He said he got his little 300 fans and everything like that. Like, I don't give a fuck about that shit. I don't care about that shit. I mean, honestly, tell me, Reggie Wright Jr., how has that changed your life? Because you have over 100 fans or 1,000 fans or 10,000 fans or whatever. Tell me, how has that changed your life? You fucking can't do it, because it hasn't. So stop trying to come at me with that shit. Like I told you in the fucking goddamn comment section. If you want to talk to me, fine. That's cool. You can talk to me. I can exchange my number just like you exchange your number. And we can do it like that. I ain't got no fucking beef with this motherfucker. I'm just saying, like, this is the shit y'all putting out. And this has been my goddamn commentary ever since I was a fucking child when this shit happened. And I'm just picking on that where I left off. Now there's a fucking YouTube and there's a platform for me to put my shit on and then speak my mind. And he's mad at that. Reggie's mad at that. Like I said, if you don't get along with Reggie, or you don't agree, not get along with him, but if you don't agree with him, then you're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit, and he don't give two shits about you. I have to remind him. I guess he realized that I'm not the trolls that's hitting him up. I ain't the trolls that's hitting him up. You got a real page. This is really my page and shit. It ain't motherfuckers that's hitting you up and everything like that. But at the same time, I'm not the nigga that's going around saying you murdered anybody. But I guess that just because I have a different opinion, you're gonna sit there and say that, you know, I'm part of the mob or whatever. Not the mob. I don't want to convince that with mob powers or anything. But I'm a part of the group who are saying that you murdered Tupac and tried to murder Suge Knight. I never said that. Other people said that. That's why I said, like, why go through all these interviews to prove to people that you wasn't involved? That's one thing I never got. A lot of these interviews he's making, you know, he's trying to prove to people, and he keeps repeating himself and shit like that he wasn't involved. Like, and I don't get it. Mike Dorsey, he brings up, you know, why there isn't any pictures with Big Puffy, Keefy D, and all of them and everything when there was a, you know, I guess a pact made between them. But you get shit like that, you ain't got no pictures and shit like that. Like that whole Keefy D shit, all that shit is not gonna stick, because, you know, if it does, it'll probably be something that has to do with the police. So it's like, oh, well, you know, this and this and this and that, but you never know. You just never know. Maybe Keefy D saves the LAPD or whoever was involved and shit like that. But, you know, that shit ain't gonna solve nothing, because like Greg Kading said, like, and I said in my last video, you know, just because you arrest somebody don't mean shit. The shit gotta stick. You know, so, but like I said, to Reggie, like, hey man, if you want to talk to me, you can holler at me. I'm gonna holler at you like a man, like just like you can holler at everybody else. It's just like people got different opinions on it. You know, it ain't no ill will or nothing like that. I'm not the motherfucker out here talking about this is what you doing, this is what you not doing, or this is what you did and you had something to do with this murder. I didn't come up with that shit. I'm just like everybody else. Everybody else who's speaking on it, well, I guess everybody else scared of you. I don't know. Fuck that. Like I said, you want to talk to me, just send me a message and holler at me or whatever, and you know, and whatever issue you got with me, just let me know. And I'll address it, and you can address the issues that, you know, that I might have with you or whatever. But I don't have no issues with you because I don't know you. I have no idea who you are. Besides, you being with Death Row and being security and mentioning Tupac and this and that. That's the only reason I know who you are. Other than that, you could have been just a ghost. Nobody could have said nothing, near nada, nothing about you. But you chose to came out and talk and all this other stuff and bring people on interviews whose stories don't match up with this person. People bringing more light things and all this other shit. It's like you're the creator of all this. Now you want to get mad. You created all this. Now you want to get mad. This is the aftermath. Wasn't nobody saying nothing because wasn't nobody, you know, really sure of anything like that. But you start talking about people and talk about how people disrespecting you, but then, you know, at the same time, you know, you'll talk about that and make sure people hear that. Well, then when it comes to you, you know, disrespecting them or, you know, just talking about them or whatever, when they really haven't really said nothing about you, you'll make sure you get a roll in on that. You'll make sure you start talking about people and getting people to fuck that motherfucker and all this other bullshit, because when nobody agree with Reggie Wright Jr., you just an asshole. Now everybody's scared of him. Reggie became a bully. Y'all take it how y'all want to take it. That's the interview that I heard. Like I said, if they don't edit it, when you can hear it straight through, you ain't gonna hear no wrong from that or whatever. But like I said, y'all be the judge or whatever. But it was just my reaction. That's all it was. It was just my reaction. Peace.